Welcome back to Revenge of the Fallen Randomness. I am glad to bring this series back. I had a lot of fun last year. I still have a lot to show you guys regarding this amazing but crazy toy line, so without further ado, let's get into this one. Last year I made it abundantly clear that the new characters in this series have some unique designs. But between the jackhammers, racist gremlins, and whatever you call this, you still have a couple sick looking robot designs. Jolt is an excellent design, and just because the toy can't stand up, that doesn't mean Sideswipe doesn't look cool. He does. Then we have the other Constructicons like Scrapper and Longhaul. Scrapper is cool, but he didn't get anything bigger than a Legends toy back then, but Longhaul is probably the best all-around looking Constructicon. He's large and in charge, just like his modern G1 counterpart, and he's green, so he's got that going for him, and unlike most of them, he actually has a competent robot mode. So if his design's so good, what makes his toy so random? Well, we'll get to that, but first let's talk about how awesome his dump truck mode is. It's honestly an excellent dump truck. It's large and in charge just like Longhaul tends to be, but it's also super compact. But it's still pretty big. I mean, what else could you want from Constructicon? Even for a G1er, this isn't very far off. He's got some good weight to him, as a 2000s toy should. I mean, $25 Voyagers are a thing of the past, so this is a bit of a trip. All of the detail is well done too. The bumper, cab, railing, everything. They even molded in the diamond plating on his walkway. That's very impressive. You don't see that very often in Studio Series these days. Now that I've shown you the cab size, you might also notice that it's a tad bit out of scale with some of the other figures in the line. But cuckoo cachoo, what else is new in Transformers? And I really don't think this matters very much because this is the same line that has a jet and a motorcycle in the deluxe class price point. But it is pretty hilarious to see Chromia next to this guy. Besides, only recently with collector-oriented lines like Studio Series and Movie Masterpiece did scale become a big concern. And it's really not that big a deal, he just needs to be a tad bigger. Like, just a tad. So what else can a construction vehicle like this do? Well, he rolls pretty good. And that actually gives him an edge over some of his Constructicon brethren. And the box advertises a working bed. So, there's that. And of course you can put something in his bed, so I guess in that regard, it's a working bed there too. Okay, this might sound stupid, but you also have to realize there's 4 long hauls in this line, and exactly one of them can do that. How hard is it to make a dump truck carry things? I just find it crazy that the simplest thing that a dump truck can do, these ones can't. Like, what the hell, man? How do you screw that up? And this one's the worst one because it's a Supreme class. We'll get to it eventually. It's got some serious problems. So yeah, not much is random in the dump truck mode, it's just really good. Now, we'll start to see a little bit more in robot mode, so speaking of which, David, robot mode. The transformation is very method. It has to be done in a certain order or you might have something end up in the wrong direction. This is especially true going back to the dump truck mode. I really don't like it going back to the dump truck mode. But this isn't terrible. Also, there's this step where the wheel goes from here to here on the leg. Okay. But overall, it's not a terrible transformation. It's actually pretty good. It's got a lot of good moments, especially how the arms come out of the sides. I really do like how that works. And I also really like how a lot of his bulk comes from the back and it folds up to give a nice backpack. It's just a little bit difficult with all the scaffolding floating over his head to get it turned around. In robot mode, you can finally see the full force of his randomness. Why is he so thin? And this isn't me hating on something for being different. It's just not accurate. He's not this thin in the movie. Everybody knows that. If you recall any use of his body type in the movies, he's very stocky and kind of a big bruiser type. I don't get that here. In terms of body type, I wanted Jelly Roll, and instead I got Pete Davidson. That said, I still really like this design. He's very well detailed, especially in his upper body. He's kind of got like a bib overall thing going on. And as for the thing in the middle, we'll talk about that in a minute. And here he is next to his movie counterpart, which, as you can see, has a lot of the movie details in there. Even though he's very lanky, you can still tell who he's supposed to be. And you know, the more I look at it, I feel like the kibble was definitely meant to represent his bulk, which Kinda lazy, not gonna lie. But this is also Revenge of the Fallen we're talking about, and this is where a lot of the panel forming got invented of the time. And even though the kibble management is kinda poor around it, the head sculpt is really good, and he looks very pissed off. He's even got a little bit of a Voldemort nose. Well, I guess we should talk about that little circle in his stomach. I can't avoid it any longer. This, boys and girls, is his MechAlive gimmick. For those who don't know, MechAlive was the line-wide gimmick of the time. Instead of Automorph, like the last movie that was actually cool, or the mech tech weapons from Dark of the Moon, we got this shit. The overthought, absolutely wretched, and underdeveloped gimmick of MechAlive. First of all, the name. MechAlive. It's a mechanism, and it's alive. No! That's not a good gimmick. It literally only amounts up to some things in the toy turning, or Optimus Prime's titties flinching. That's it. Guys, when we met in January, we said we wanted a good gimmick for our toy line that would step past Automorph. Who was on this? Nick? I can't fire you because we're best friends, you know. You're the best car guy I know. But I'm not buying you steak tonight. Nope. I don't want to hear it. But all his MechAlive does is his head turns and that little drum in his stomach turns. No! That was not worth a whole line being based around this and planning a budget around that. No. Hell no. But hey, at least it gave him moving pistons like MPO1 in his arm. Okay. Now as for other things you can do, he's got these kibble polygons on his arms. You find the gray button on them and push it, and now he's got blades that come out. But let's face it, they're kind of butter knives, so I might as well butter my toast with these puppies. So yeah, he's not setting the world on fire, but they're fine. They look pretty cool. And honestly, to be fair, I would have preferred the Tomahawk missiles to fire into my eyes, you know, since that were his actual weapons in the movie, but fuck accuracy, I guess, right? Nah, Hasbro, we don't want our third bike. We don't want Suck My Popsicle on a kid's toy. No, I totally don't want a freaking tactical missile on my dump truck robot to fire at my neighbor and say, yeah, Ralph, my dump truck fires a fucking missile. What does yours do? Load dirt? Are you kidding me? That's exactly what we wanted. That's why I made this series. Good lord. The last thing you can do with how weirdly jointed his arms are, you can make him look inconvenienced all the time. It's like he's saying,
see with a live dribble. Knocked away by Carriere. Ahead to LeBron James, the space jam!
Come on, rapper, you can't, that's a travel! Come on! Or you could just yell at the smaller Constructicons for being weak. Come on, Dirt Boss, it's not that heavy. You're a fucking forklift. I don't care how many times your arms fall off. Pick it up. God, no wonder Bumblebee clatters you to bits all the time. You call yourself a Constructicon? Airstrike! Wait a minute, what? So this guy's articulation isn't as bad as you think it would be for how weirdly jointed he is. The head is on a swivel with the dumbass MechAlive that I hate. The arms are completely universal and on ratchets. They go up, they go back. They would go all the way around if all the kibble wasn't in the way. He's got a bicep swivel, the little MechAlive elbow pistons. Those are good MechAlive, like I said. I like that. The wrists go in and out. Like I said, doesn't really do that. Anything else with those? You can move these around a little bit, but takes away the sword play if you get rid of the, or if you fold those in, you can't use the swords anymore, so you don't want to do that. There is no waist swivel to speak of, but there is a thigh swivel, which is very good. His knees are a bit double jointed, but not very much. That's about as far as you can get. And then you can do it about just whatever you want with the feet. And you've got some little pistons in there as well. But yeah, this guy is not that badly articulated. It's just a bit weird, and you kind of got to really pick and choose what poses you want to use. Overall, I think this figure's pretty good. He's a bit weird, but I still like him for what he is. He might be a bit lanky here and there, but his dump truck mode is absolutely awesome. And he does look pretty good with some of his other Constructicon brethren. Now, the next figure we're going to look at on this series will be a figure that, took something I really enjoyed from the first movie line and absolutely bastardized it. So in the meantime, just go ahead and place your bets. But until then, I'll be seeing you guys in the next episode of Revenge of the Fallen Randomness. Treebot out.